Before we get into this absolutely wild development surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because what I'm about to break down is not just another rumor, not just off-season noise, but something that could completely reshape the future of this franchise and one of the most iconic player relationships the NFL has ever seen. Chiefs Kingdom, you might want to sit down for this one. The Kansas City Chiefs locker room is not usually a place of uncertainty. For years now, it's been defined by confidence, leadership, and a clear sense of direction. Patrick Mahomes leads. Travis Kelce dominates. Andy Reid pulls the strings. Everything feels stable, predictable, almost untouchable. But behind the scenes, something has shifted, and players are starting to feel it. Coaches are feeling it. And most importantly, the message Patrick Mahomes just sent has everyone wondering if Travis Kelce's future in Kansas City is no longer as locked in as we all assumed. Let's be clear about one thing right from the start. This is not about a fight. This is not about drama between Mahomes and Kelce. This is not about egos clashing. In fact, it's almost the opposite. That's what makes this situation so powerful, and honestly, kind of shocking. Patrick Mahomes has always been careful with his words. He doesn't throw teammates under the bus. He doesn't hint at internal problems. He doesn't apply pressure publicly unless he believes it's absolutely necessary. So when Mahomes speaks in a way that sounds reflective, emotional, and future-focused, the entire NFL world leans in. And that's exactly what just happened. Inside the Chiefs' locker room, players are reportedly reacting to the same question that fans are now asking out loud. What does the future look like, and who is still part of it? Travis Kelce has been the heartbeat of this offense for nearly a decade. Not just statistically, but emotionally. He's the fire. He's the swagger. He's the voice that keeps things loose when the pressure is highest. But time waits for no one, not even legends. Kelce has logged countless snaps, absorbed countless hits, and played through injuries most players would sit out. And now, for the first time, the conversation around him feels different. It's not about whether he can still play. Everyone knows he can. It's about timing. It's about legacy. And it's about what Patrick Mahomes wants the next chapter of his career to look like. The message Mahomes sent wasn't aggressive. It wasn't direct. But it was intentional. When he talked about evolving, when he talked about the next phase, when he talked about building something that lasts beyond individual moments, people inside the building heard more than just generic leadership talk. They heard a quarterback who is already thinking about life after certain core pieces. That's where the shock comes in. Because for years, the assumption was simple. Mahomes and Kelce ride together until the wheels fall off. Retirement, farewell tour, standing ovations, storybook ending. But the NFL doesn't always give you fairy tales. Sometimes it gives you hard transitions, even when love and respect are still there. Inside that locker room, younger players are watching closely. Tight ends on the depth chart are suddenly aware that their future may be arriving sooner than expected. Wide receivers are wondering how the offense might change if Kelce's role shifts. Coaches are quietly evaluating how much longer they can build everything around one player, no matter how legendary. And Travis Kelce? He's hearing the noise too, even if he's not reacting publicly. What makes this moment so fascinating is that Kelce isn't just a football player anymore. He's a brand. He's a personality. He's a global name. His life extends far beyond Sundays now. Media projects, business opportunities, cultural relevance, all of it matters. And sometimes, when an athlete reaches that level, the internal calculation changes. It becomes less about whether you can still play and more about whether you want to keep paying the price. Patrick Mahomes understands that. He's not just a quarterback. He's the face of the league. He knows how brutal this game is, and he knows how quickly things can change. So when he talks about the future with a tone that feels both grateful and forward-looking, it naturally raises eyebrows. Some players in that locker room reportedly felt emotional after hearing Mahomes speak. Not because they think Kelce is gone tomorrow, but because they sense that the era they've known is slowly approaching a crossroads. That realization hits hard, especially in a championship culture where change is rare. Let's talk about why this matters beyond just Kelce. The Chiefs are entering a critical phase. Mahomes is in his prime. The AFC is getting younger, faster, and more aggressive. Contracts are tighter. Roster decisions are harder. Every dollar spent has consequences. And as much as fans hate to hear it, sentimentality doesn't win championships in the modern NFL. If Kelce wants to continue playing at an elite level, the Chiefs have to decide how much they can invest, how much they can rely on him, and how much they need to prepare for life after him. Mahomes' message suggests that preparation is already happening mentally, even if it hasn't happened officially. That doesn't mean betrayal. It means reality. And that's what has the locker room in shock. Not anger. Not resentment. But the realization that nothing lasts forever. Not even the greatest quarterback-tight end connection in NFL history. Players are human. They form bonds. They build identities around teams and teammates. When the leader of the franchise acknowledges change, it forces everyone else to do the same. That can be unsettling, even in the most successful organizations. Now, let's flip the perspective for a moment. What if this message actually strengthens Kelce's legacy rather than threatening it? What if Mahomes isn't signaling an ending, but honoring what's already been accomplished? There's a difference between clinging to the past and respecting it enough to let it stand on its own. Mahomes may be doing the latter. By acknowledging that the future will look different, he may be giving Kelce the freedom to decide his next move without pressure, without expectation, and without guilt. That kind of leadership doesn't show up on stat sheets. Travis Kelce has nothing left to prove. Rings, records, iconic moments. It's all there. The only question left is how he wants to write the final lines of his career. And Mahomes, whether intentionally or not, may have just handed him the pen. The shock in the locker room comes from uncertainty, but also from respect. Players know what Kelce means to this team. They also know what Mahomes represents moving forward. Balancing those two truths is not easy. Fans, of course, are split. Some believe this is being blown out of proportion. Others believe this is the first real sign that change is coming faster than expected. And honestly, both sides have a point. Nothing official has happened. No announcements. No deadlines. No ultimatums. Just words. But in the NFL, words from a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes carry enormous weight. The Chiefs are too smart, too disciplined, and too experienced to let emotions derail their future. That's why this situation is being handled quietly, respectfully, and internally. But silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Sometimes it means everything is being carefully considered. One thing is clear. The Mahomes-Kelce era is no longer being taken for granted, and that alone is a massive shift. Whether this leads to a reduced role, a farewell season, or one last dominant run together remains to be seen. But the message has been sent. The locker room has heard it. And Chiefs Kingdom is now holding its breath.